Donald Trump, the current president of the United States, has once again made headlines around the world with a major decision that's shaking both American politics and global conversations. President Trump has officially signed an executive order to end birthright citizenship in the United States, a law that has been part of American life for more than 150 years. Now, this is not just another political story. This is history happening in real time. And before we go deeper, please make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any updates as this story continues to unfold. So, what exactly does Trump's new order mean? Let's break it down in simple English so everyone can understand. For more than a century, anyone born on American soil automatically becomes a U.S. citizen, even if their parents are not citizens or permanent residents. It doesn't matter where the parents are from, as long as the baby is born in the United States, that child is automatically a citizen. That's what we call birthright citizenship. It comes directly from the 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, written in 1868 after the Civil War, to ensure that all people born in the U.S. have equal rights and protection under the law. Now President Trump is saying, enough of that. He wants to end it. His argument is simple: citizenship should not be automatic just because a child is born on U.S. soil. According to him, only children whose parents are U.S. citizens or legal permanent residents should be eligible for citizenship. That's a bold move, and it's already creating huge debates across America. Now, as you're listening, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. It really helps this channel and makes sure you don't miss important updates like this one. So let's continue. When President Trump signed this order, he said it's time to restore fairness to America's immigration system. He believes that the current rule, where anyone born in the U.S. becomes a citizen, encourages people to enter the country illegally just to give birth and secure U.S. citizenship for their children. Supporters of the new order say this change will discourage illegal immigration and protect the integrity of the nation's borders. But of course, not everyone agrees. In fact, this decision has triggered a major legal and constitutional fight. Civil rights groups, immigration lawyers, and even some members of Congress have already taken action, saying the president's order violates the Constitution. They argue that the 14th Amendment is very clear: it guarantees citizenship to all persons born or naturalized in the United States. So now, the matter has gone to the highest court in the land, the Supreme Court of the United States. The court has agreed to hear the case, and their final decision will determine whether President Trump's executive order can stand or if it will be struck down. And again, before we continue, please like this video and subscribe. You'll want to stay updated as this story develops because this decision could change how American citizenship works forever. Now, let's talk about what's happening at the Supreme Court level. The court will hear arguments from both sides, the Trump administration defending the order, and several states and advocacy groups challenging it. The question before the justices is this: can the president change a constitutional right through an executive order, or does that require a constitutional amendment passed by Congress? If the court sides with President Trump, America will experience one of the most dramatic changes to its citizenship laws in modern history. But if the court blocks it, the traditional rule of birthright citizenship will remain in place. This is not just an American issue, it's a global one. Many countries are watching this case closely. If the US changes its citizenship laws, it could inspire similar changes elsewhere, especially in countries facing immigration challenges. And for viewers here in Nigeria and across Africa, this is particularly important. Many people travel to the United States every year for different reasons: education, work, business, and even childbirth. For decades, some families have gone to the US so that their children could be born as American citizens. But under Trump's new order, that would no longer be possible. Children born in the US to non-citizens would no longer receive automatic citizenship. That's a huge shift. Please remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We'll keep breaking down big stories like this in simple, clear English. Now let's go deeper into the public reaction inside the United States. Supporters of the president are celebrating the move. They believe Trump is protecting American jobs, national security, and the rule of law. They argue that the system has been abused for too long, that people come into the US illegally, give birth, and then use their child's citizenship to stay permanently. They call it a loophole that needs to be closed. But opponents, including many constitutional lawyers, are warning that this move could tear the country apart legally and socially. They argue that ending birthright citizenship could create millions of people who are stateless, meaning they belong to no country at all. It could divide families and create confusion about who is and isn't an American. Now think about this, the US has over 330 million people. Thousands of babies are born there every day. If this order stands, hospitals, schools, and government offices will all have to change the way they handle citizenship records. That's a massive change for the entire system. As this story continues, people around the world are waiting to see what happens. The Supreme Court's ruling, expected sometime next year, will decide the fate of this order and possibly set a new standard for citizenship in the 21st century. And before we move on, make sure you like this video and subscribe. That's how you keep getting updates on real stories like this, explained simply and professionally. Now let's look at the wider global impact. If the US ends birthright citizenship, it could encourage other countries to review their own laws. Canada, for example, also has automatic birthright citizenship, and similar debates are already happening there. Some European nations have more limited versions of it. So, a change in America could start a global trend toward tightening citizenship laws. Meanwhile, human rights organizations are warning that this policy could lead to discrimination. They argue that some groups, especially immigrant communities, might face unfair treatment or lose access to basic services if their children are no longer recognized as citizens. President Trump, however, remains firm. In his public statements, he insists that his decision is not about discrimination, it's about protecting America's sovereignty. He says citizenship is one of the highest honors a country can give, and it should not be automatic for people who have no legal status in the country. Whatever side you're on, one thing is clear, this move has become one of the biggest and most controversial policies of President Trump's administration. It's defining his presidency and shaping how the world views America's immigration system. And remember, don't just watch, like this video and subscribe. This channel is all about breaking down major global stories in simple, clear English, so you can understand what's really happening. To sum up this story clearly, President Donald Trump, the current US president, has signed an executive order to end birthright citizenship. This means that children born in the United States will no longer automatically become citizens unless their parents are US citizens or legal permanent residents. The order has sparked legal battles and is now being reviewed by the Supreme Court, which will decide if it's constitutional or not. If the court supports Trump, it will be a historic change to the American system, the first time in history that this right is limited. But if the court blocks it, then the Constitution remains as it is, and anyone born in the US will continue to be a citizen. This is a story with global impact, emotional weight, and political tension. It affects millions of families and could reshape how the world views citizenship. So keep watching, keep liking, and keep subscribing, because this story is not over. And we'll be here to tell you the next chapter, in clear and simple English, as it unfolds.